All right, here's another example where now we have a quadratic equation with fractions. So the first thing we want to do is get rid of those fractions. Why deal with fractions when you don't have to? So in this case here, we can just multiply everything by the least common divisor. It's not going to affect over here because that's just 0. So we'll still end up with a quadratic equation, but with whole number or integer values for the coefficients. So the least common divisor here is going to be 10. So if we multiply everything by 10, then what happens is the denominators go away. We end up with 3x squared minus 4x plus 7 is equal to 0. All right, now let's label our values. So A is equal to 3, and then B is equal to -4, and C is equal to 7. And so now if we write our quadratic formula, then we have -b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all divided by 2a. Okay. Now, all we're going to do is plug in our values. So -b, now remember b is -4, so this is a negative of a -4, which is going to give us +4. So it's 4 plus or minus the square root of b squared, so which is going to be -4 squared, minus 4 times a, which is 3, times c, which is 7, all over 2 times 3. Okay, so that's what I did. So we just plugged in our values. Okay, so if you want to see it more clearly here, so this is negative of a -4. So let's write it that way. Okay, so we've got a negative of a -4 plus or minus the -4 quantity squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. Okay, now we're just going to simplify and calculate it. So then we get 4 plus or minus 16, the square root of 16 minus, now 21 times 4 is 84 over 6. Now we simplify further, so this is going to be 4 plus or minus the square root of -68, right? So 16 minus 84 is 68 over 6. And now we can simplify this even further. We've got a negative sign here under the radical, so we're going to use an imaginary number. But also 68 can be split into the product of 4 times 17. Okay, so that's going to equal 4 plus or minus the square root of what? It's going to be 4 times 17 I, right? So I pulled the I out because of the negative under the radical. And this is over 6. Okay? And then, of course, I can split this up, and the square root of 4 is 2. So I can write this as 4 plus or minus 2i root 17 over 6. And so then our final answer, if we split it up, 4 divided by 6, that's going to give us 2/3. So 2/3 plus or minus, and then the 2 divides into the 6, so that's going to simplify to 1/3, right? So we get I times the root 17 over 3. All right, and so that's our final solution. So our solution is x equals 2/3 plus or minus I root 17 over 3.